Hello, everyone. It's Dr. Lynn Daniel coming to you today on the Lynn Daniel channel here on YouTube. And I'm continuing with my doctoral dissertation series, interviewing spectacular individuals who are working in the field to help folks finish their doctorates strong. So today I have Dr. Laura Roberts, and she's going to share with you her expertise and her journey. All right, welcome, Dr. Laura Roberts.
Thank you, Lynn. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's good to have you here. All right, so tell us a little bit about yourself, your background and your school, your business, all of it.
Thanks for the question. I got my doctorate in 1991 in a department called Human Development, which is pretty much developmental psychology. And I've been working as a supporter of doctoral students since then. My business is called StressFree RAE, and that stands for Right Angle Educators, but I shortened it recently to StressFree RAE. And I have a course online to help students sort of navigate some of the rocky shoals of statistics for the dissertation. And I also have a mentoring program where I work with students one-on-one for statistical and research methods aspects of the dissertation.
Very good. So you have a strong focus on the quantitative side, or does that include both qual and quan?
It's both qual and quan.
Okay. All right. So what led you to this place of service for doctoral students? Was there any experiences or observations, interests?
There were some very, I guess I would say, traumatic personal experiences with the doctoral journey. My committee was not supportive. And there's something that recently cropped up on one of the Facebook groups that I'm a part of, which was the Doctoral Moms Facebook group. Mm-hmm. And someone said, you know, I'm getting the funny feeling that the faculty and the university aren't here to help me finish this degree, but instead to put up as many hurdles as they can. And I really resonated to that because that was my experience. And what happened was, you know, I fought and clawed, which is another phrase from the post that appeared in Doctoral Moms. I fought and clawed my way through it, and I made it. And I said, you know, my mission as a professor and as a mentor is to do something about this culture of hazing. It's mm-hmm. kind of like a hazing culture. Yes, and so I've worked with, I've chaired just hundreds of committees and provided what I feel was the appropriate level of support for my students. Not too much, but that's typically not the problem of providing too much help. Right. But the problem is a lot of students get too little. They don't get the help that they need. Mm-hmm. So that's been my mission. I've been on the faculty and chaired committees at a number of different universities. And it's been so gratifying for me to work with students who aren't getting the support that they deserve. They really deserve it. You know, you're in a doctoral program, you jumped all the hurdles to get in there, you've worked hard all your life, you're paying tuition. Mm-hmm. So you deserve a faculty member, at least one who believes in you and who's doing everything they can to support you without, you know, the other side of it is enabling, where the faculty are actually writing the dissertation for the student. That's no good. That's not the point. Right. But right. there is this level of support that's in the sweet spot, and it holds up a high standard for students. And it's all about being very candid with students. If they're not reaching that high standard, you sometimes have to give a difficult message. It's got to be better.
Mhm.
And then there's the compassion piece. And I'm going to help you figure out what resources you need to get up to the standard that I'm looking for. So it's directing students to resources. That's the piece that's missing. Directing students to resources that work, that are going to get them to that high level that we expect. So yeah, it's been, like I said, it's just been terribly gratifying for me. I've loved it, loved every step of the way. Yeah, it's been great.
That's good. So who would you consider your dream client or your ideal client in a student?
It's really, most of the students that I've had, it's just someone who is willing to learn, someone who is willing to take risks, someone who isn't afraid to make mistakes. And that's a strong piece of being a doctoral student, because doctoral students have to be creative. They have to present something to the academic community that nobody's ever thought of before. And in doing that, in bringing out an idea that nobody's considered before, a lot of times there's resistance to that people don't want to hear that. Well, that's something new. That we have never looked at this problem this way. And so you're kind of out there on your own, with the exception of the person who has somebody behind them saying, keep going, keep on this. This is a great idea, just keep going. And if you have to fight to get this idea out into the public eye, you just fight that battle. But yeah, creativity, striking out into virgin territory and bringing some new ideas to the canon of scholarly knowledge. It takes courage. You have to take risks. And the only way you can take those risks, if you trust your mentor, if you trust your chair, you can do it.
Right, right. And that's support. That is the kind of support, as you described, that is needed. It's ethereal or it's abstract, but and it's small steps. Sometimes it is just saying, consider this body of work, or have you looked at, it's just the pointing. And it's also saying, consider this tool. Like I felt, and I finished last year, October, and it's still fresh in my mind.
Congratulations.
Oh,
that is wonderful. Pat yourself on the back.
I felt it. I struggled my last couple of years because I had a design that I really wanted to do, and I could not bring it together, and I couldn't find the sources, and no one on my committee was saying, look at this or try this. And I felt like I was just spinning my wheels. So I scratched everything and started over. And that was 2 years worth of work. So yeah, we need people who are right there, coaching, guiding, directing, and that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what I do. That's what I do. And I love doing it. So you're saying that was 2 years of just hitting the brick wall every time, and nobody's saying, they let you go for 2 years without providing that guidance. That, see, to me, that is just like, I don't even have the words. It's terrible. It's terrible. Well, it's not teaching. It's not mentoring.
In that 2 year span of time, I kept getting the feedback. And then when I would do what I thought the feedback said, then it would come back the same feedback. And that process went on for 2 years. But in the meantime, I was continuing to make what I thought was forward action on my study, where I was going with my first 3 chapters. But no, it was heartbreaking, but it was a learning, and I persevered and endured, and I finished. So I'm grateful for that. And that's why I joined the various groups on Facebook, Doctoral Moms being one, because I was finding that the community nearby me, it didn't exist, or I couldn't get to those physical places. So online became the safe haven. The doctoral moms and the qualitative research and education is another one that became a very strong resource for me. So what would you say to students? What would you say to students who feel like they are alone in the journey? What would your message be to them?
Well, one of them would be to join the Facebook group, Doctoral Moms, the support that those women, and they just, all the time, every day I look at it, and every day there's somebody who, what it would happen in a support group. Somebody will say, I'm struggling, chapter 2 is a bear. I've been working on this for 2 months and I don't feel like I'm making progress. And then they'll have like 50 people that will respond and say, you go girl, you got this, you can do it. And, when you get that kind of feedback from people in such a volume, it buoys your spirit. You feel so much better. And you can go back to that well, because there's going to be other hurdles that you're going to hit, but you've got a reliable source of support. And, I just wish that I could get my message across to many, many faculty. We can do so much more to support the students that aspire, especially women who are maybe they're the first in their family to get a doctoral degree. The first in their family, maybe even to be in graduate school. I mean, these are people to be celebrated and supported, and I'm just not seeing it. And I wish my colleagues would understand that message.
Mm-hmm. I wonder about that too as well. I appreciated what you shared before we started recording about your interest in first generation college graduates, women of color, getting the doctorate, the PhD. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure, I'd be happy to. The doctoral degree is something that it's like a union card that takes your career, like supercharges your career. And many women of color know that. And especially in like ed leadership, I've been working in ed leadership for most of my career, but other disciplines as well. And so many, many women of color say, that's what I'm going to do so that I can have my voice and people will understand that I have a really important contribution to make. And so in the universities where I worked, I did not see enough women of color applying or getting accepted. I didn't see enough people of men or women of color who were on the faculty. And so there was a lack of role models. Now, what I have seen a lot is women of color, and I don't know why this decision is made, applying to for-profit universities. They way outnumber any other group in for-profit universities. And the for-profit universities have a graduation rate that's dismally low. And so why, I wonder, are they not supporting the women of color? In some ways, I mean, you might say, well, maybe you're saying that I don't really understand the trials of a woman of color, but I do, because I have some similar kinds of issues in my background where it's being a woman, first of all, but other things as well, where it's, I love this phrase of, it's the soft bigotry of low expectations. And that's been a lot of the part of my life. And there's no justice in that everybody who makes it to is accepted in a doctoral program should have the same expectations of anybody else, of anybody from any other group. And I'm just not seeing it. I am not seeing the women of color getting the kind of support that people from other groups are getting. So that's why, I want to reach out especially to women of color, and that, I just think that's an important group that we need to amplify the voices of the women of color.
Very good, very good. I belong to, I just finished it was an 8-week course session. And it was for anyone, but the majority of us were women of color or people of color. And it was led by a professor who is a woman of color from another country. But it was very rich, just hearing the voices, hearing the experiences, hearing the struggles, and understanding that all of us come out of a doctorate with some sort of a wound, like it's a traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you learn a lot about yourself and you grow,
Mm-hmm.
it's a traumatic experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so what do you recommend for the doctorate, the doctoral candidate, the doctoral student, and the new doctorate, like to deal with that trauma and to heal?
Mm-hmm. The doctoral student, the key is finding a mentor who cares, and finding a mentor who's going to support you and point you to the resources that you need. I just want to mention some research papers that I published in International Journal of Doctoral Studies. And if you just Google my name in that journal, and the publications from 2018 to 2020 speak to that exact issue of what doctoral students can do, what faculty can do to support doctoral students. And it's an ethic of compassionate candor. So I guess I'm speaking more to faculty, what faculty can do to prevent the trauma that so many students have is having that, being really honest, holding really high expectations, and having that compassion. The compassion's what is missing.
Mm-hmm.
So mentors, chairs, learn how to develop compassion if you don't have it, and bring it to your practice as a chair and a mentor. And then, some of the faculty then get a reputation. This is somebody who's really good. This is somebody who really wants to get you to the end of the tunnel. So you can kind of have like a little bit of an underground network saying, these are the people that, you should find. And you can find it on Doctoral Moms. You can find it just talking to your friends who have succeeded, who have finished, or you can see they're moving up the ranks quickly. You say, well, who's your chair? Who are you working with? What university are you with? And even when as a student, when you're considering applying to a doctoral program, go on Doctoral Moms and you pose a question, say, what are the best, most supportive programs for women? What are the best, most supportive programs for women of color? What are the best, most supportive chairs for women of color? Find out through that underground network who is going to treat you the way you should be treated, because they're there. They're there.
Yeah.
Find them. That's what I say. Find them.
That's excellent. Excellent. I want to thank you so much, Dr. Roberts, for your time today. Is there anything that was rich right there? That was like, chew on that, that was rich. Before you go though, any last words? Anything? I'm looking at my notes to see if there's anything on here, because you pretty much touched on it all. Any parting advice besides what you just said?
Well, I'm available to support students, and again, that journal, International Journal of Doctoral Studies, look up my name from 2018 to 2020. I think you'll find both faculty and students some papers that will help you in the journey. And, I'm here. I want to help students. I want to support students. Again, if you go on Doctoral Moms, I'll be posting on there, letting you know how you can get in touch with me, how you can schedule, a time to just chat on the phone. I'm especially interested in supporting students when they have this, great idea about what they want to contribute to the scholarly research. And they need somebody to just talk through the kind of nuts and bolts. Well, who do I have to, who's my sample? How am I going to get a sample to learn this information? What kind of a research instrument do I need? Do I need a survey? Do I need an interview? There's lots of other possibilities. Do I need to do observations? If I collect data, numerical data, what statistics do I need to analyze it? If I collect text data, qualitative data, how am I going to organize it and make sense of it and find the thematic, threads in there, those little gold threads, the themes that emerge when you have rich data like that. Text data can be so rich. So yeah, that I love to help students with that.
Do you have an email or a website where they can find you? Because Doctoral Moms is on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. So you can find her in Doctoral Moms. And what about an email or a website that you, if you have one that you would like to share?
The best way to contact me is through my email, and the email is StressFree RAE @gmail.com. So stress-free, which we'd all love to be, and then RAE, which are the initials for my company, Right Angle Educators, @gmail.com.
All right. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Laura Roberts. This was a great opportunity, and I appreciate you coming today. All righty.
Lovely to speak with you. Okay.
I'll see you in Doctoral Moms.
That would be great. I'm happy to talk to you again if you'd ever want to.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too. Okay.
All righty. Bye now.